As Medic just said, Damwon did look very convincing yesterday. They will be on the red side, and already they're showing their respect towards Larssen in the mid lane with the Twisted Fate being removed, Irelia on the side of Rogue, with Tryndamere actually being banned away on the side of Rogue as well.
Yeah, and with the Yumi getting removed by Damwon themselves, obviously they think that perhaps Rogue would go for a first pick Yumi here for
I think it's meta now, dude. I think you just got to accept it.
Oh,
I think
I'm a dog person, Betty.
I mean, you know, doesn't your girlfriend have cats?
Yeah, two of them. She's not watching, she's at work. It's fine.
All right, so with the Draven being removed as well, I'm looking at other potential things that could be up and available. We haven't really seen things like, we've seen Lee Sin banned, but Xin has been getting through the draft quite a lot. We obviously haven't seen a huge amount of priority on things like Qiyana or Talon, but we know that they are always available. Yesterday we did see the Qiyana come out from Inspired with Odoamne, actually bringing out the Rumble, one of his old school favorites. Obviously the man's been playing for a while now, but champions like Jace, Kennen, and Rumble were actually some of his old go-tos. In any case, the Lee Sin is going to be removed from the board, so I imagine, given that this is Rogue, Lucian is going to be the priority, and yeah, that's likely going to go into the hands of Hans Summer, as we don't really see Lucian mid lane all that often. And then the immediate response likely to be the Aphelios for the side of Damwon. Not really too surprising that Misfortune is up and available too if they want it, but I think that the Aphelios makes a lot of sense.
It definitely does. Getting Ghost and AD carry that can work well in teamfights alongside that Showmaker's Rise would be a very strong pick here. Of course, Larssen comfortable on the Twisted Fate, but with that banned away, Rise really the only of those champions that has the roaming ability from the mid lane. Larssen might fall back to one of his more traditional mages in this match.
Well, yes, Orianna is sort of what you expect to be picked into this matchup. Larssen is a very prominent Orianna player, and it does give you a lot of control, but perhaps they want something a little bit more teamfight focused. Of course, focusing in on the bottom side of the map, Nami still very prominent, in particular when paired with the Lucian, and so they're going to have a very powerful 2 versus 2 into the bot side of the map. But Damwon seem to be responding with a scaling bot side of their own. While the Lucian Nami gives you a lot of lane prowess, Aphelios plus Lulu gives you an insane amount of late game power, given your ability to protect the Aphelios, especially if he goes for the shield bow early on. So Damwon already preparing themselves for more of a team fight style, and we talked about the Orianna as an answer into the Rise from Larssen, and that is likely what he is going to go for. So we move into the second phase. Damwon now have their eyes on pinching the jungle port a little bit more, and remember that they do have the first pick here, so they can remove things like the Qiyana, they can also remove things like the Xin Zhao if they want to, and they can lock themselves in the Jarvan, and as I say that, it's actually Rogue that are banning that one away. So Rogue agree, they say, you know what, let's limit the jungle pool, let's see what both junglers have at their disposal. But Inspired is saying this to Canyon, he has a world skin, by the way, so I think that I have a lot of confidence in Canyon when it comes to his champion pool and what he has at his disposal. The question is, what will it be? You imagine it'll be an AD jungler. We do still have the Xin up and available, unless Rogue choose to ban it. Of course, the Talon is still up and available as well.
I do wonder if the Talon pick is more of a, we have a Yumi on our team so we can constantly buff the Talon up as he looks for fights, or whether it's a pick that is used in different scenarios. The Xin banned away, so as you say, Talon an option here. Damwon could of course look for a top laner and then save their jungle for counter pick. But they do have the option of going towards that Talon and will be locked in. So Damwon are very happy to take that, and they do have an enchanter support anyway, so that Lulu can work well with the Talon as the game goes on.
Well, I also just think that Gordrinker Talon is just really strong, and you look at Rogue's composition right now, that's 3 squishy champions, all of which Talon is more than happy to play into. So I think that Damwon's pretty happy with what they've drafted for themselves right now. I'm really curious as to what the answer is from Rogue. Of course, this Grave's still a flex pick. We don't quite know where it is going as of yet. So let's just hold off and see where things go for the time being. Right now, Rogue going for...
Oh!
No!
No way did you just lock in Fiddlesticks?
He's locked in Fiddle against Canyon's Talon? well, you could have another opportunity. Voice is ready.
I get the guttural sounds coming out. Of course, Inspired, a very well-known fiddle player here in Europe with one of the iconic plays from summer season in the LEC with incredible Crowstorm's turnaround game against Misfits. Damwon will lock in the Jax top to deal with this Graves. Now that we see the full compositions, Vedius, tell me what you think.
I mean, I just really like Damwon's calm, you know? I feel like, sure, when you actually look at the lanes, your expectations are Orianna does very well into Rise. Not at like level 1, but once you get level 2, 3, a couple more levels under your belt, Orianna starts to win out on that matchup and should be able to get prio. In the bot lane, you also expect Rogue to have the 2v2 prio. But when you get into the late game, like, I think it's going to be really difficult to be able to match the Jax on sides. I think that this Talon against this very squishy comp overall is going to have a field day roaming around and looking for picks and kind of shadowing that Jax in a side lane. And then also you have Showmaker on Rise who's going to constantly be looking to roam around the map. So I think that the biggest thing that Rogue needs to take advantage of is something that they did do a lot during the regular season was trying to take advantage of your strong laning phase. You do have some strong laning champions, but is Fiddle really the champion that's going to help you snowball in that early game? I think it's a bit of a gamble. Of course, you know that they're going to have some strong teamfighting prowess. Orianna Shockwave combined with the Fiddle ultimate is something that you definitely can't afford to underestimate, but yeah, I feel like the Rogue is saying, you know what, we have champions that we're comfortable on, we have champions that we have confidence on, and so let's see how they do against the reigning world champions in Damwon.
It's a Herculean task for Rogue here, but a win would very much put them in contention to get out of this group. With FPX losing to Damwon yesterday, Rogue getting a win here would put them up towards that second seed position. I mean, it would put them first on the day, but I haven't got that much euphoria going on. Okay, expectations are that Damwon and FPX should still be favorites to get out of this group. Damwon starting down towards the bottom lane. We'll set up a full 5-man, and Hansama playing in a relatively safe position here in the Tribush. Even if Damwon push forward, he should be able to back away. Obviously has no vision of them as of yet, and as they come around the corner, he'll spot Khan, start to walk his way away. Khan still looking to see if Hansama stayed, but he doesn't. Damwon will actually push in towards this red buff, Betty.
Damwon's main intent here is to get information on where the Fiddle is starting. It's really important. So, interesting thing about Fiddle. Of course, Fiddle actually has a very fast clear speed because you can clear 2 camps at the same time, right? That's one of his biggest strengths and something that can make him very difficult to deal with. In terms of his early dueling, he's also deceptively strong because not only does he get the lifesteal from his W, he also has an execute at the end of the channel if you're able to fully channel it. So he's not someone that you can afford to underestimate, but he is someone that, because of his low mobility, you can actually look to try and take advantage of in the early jungle matchup. And by dropping this early ward, Canyon has information that for now, Inspired is not starting on the bot side of his map, whereas it looks to me like Inspired right now is doing both his blue and his wolves, and he is likely going to be clearing both of those together, and then he can choose to go over to do his Grom if he wants, or he can immediately move towards the bot side of the map, or he can do both of those together as well. Yeah. So as you're seeing, this is why Fiddle's clear speed is actually very, very fast, and he's pathing towards the bot side of the map where, with a Lucian army, you expect to get early prio, largely because of how strong this duo can trade in lane, but I kind of expect whoever gets that level 2 first, which for now looks like it's going to be Damwon, will have control for the time being.
Yeah, they should be able to push back Hansama and Trimby in the lane. Rogue's strength predominantly through the LEC was getting early leads, getting a strong laning advantage against teams, and then being able to snowball that or slowly suffocate their enemy teams out of the game. Here, of course, against Damwon, against the reigning world champ, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get those individual laning advantages.
Well, you say that for the time being. Odo does have the push in top lane. Canyon has gone for a very fast level 3 clear, where he has gone from red into Raptors into Gromp. He will be spotted out here.
Both smites going to come off at the same time, and Canyon will secure it. So buff stolen there by the Damwon jungler. He's going to look for more as he goes across towards the Krugs. Bot lane pushed in underneath the tower. Hansama and Trimby trying to defend. Double TPs coming out. And it looks like it will all be for naught. Showmaker getting chased out just a little bit. Larson putting some damage down as well, but Damwon just get a TP for TP trade.
But I think Canyon overall is pretty happy with this, and I think what's really great about the TP from Showmaker is it makes it even harder for Hansama. Ooh, hang on.
Flash stun, and Odo Omne has to try and flash away, but Khan is still on the chase. No flash for either of these. One more auto attack would be enough. The end of the line is the end of the lane for Odo Omne as he falls to Khan in the 1v1.
And Khan just finds himself a solo kill onto Odo Omne. So even though he had so much pressure in the lane early on, Khan is able to find a small window where he can punish him, and he ends up getting a huge advantage. He's likely going to be forced to TP back into this lane, but Damwon stealing away the red buff, investing the early TP into bot, forcing the bot lane of Rogue to lose a couple of CS, and also stealing camps away from Inspired and just making his life difficult. Look, you can see Canyon is going to double crab him right now, largely thanks to the fact that Odo also just died, and the prio that Showmaker was able to get in mids. The advantage is going in the jungle favor for Canyon, the advantage is going in the favor of the bot lane, the advantage is going in favor of the top lane. Already, Damwon is getting a huge early advantage.
Kind of as to be expected, let's be honest. Damwon, one of the best laning teams in the world. Their team fighting is nothing to snuff at either, as Inspire tries to steal away these wolves. Showmaker will find him as he goes around the corner. Showmaker is going to be able to get the root here down in a second, but the wolf stolen there by the Damwon mid laner, and Rogue very much on the back foot in the early game here. 700 gold behind. Damwon are just walking them all over the map. You can see that kill lead in the top lane, a 10 CS lead down towards the bottom side against a lane that is meant to be dominant in the laning phase. You know, Lucian Nami is picked for its aggressive early laning.
Well, that was my expectation, but perhaps my read on the 2v2 was just incorrect, because the way Ghost and Beryl are playing this right now is just absolutely flawless as they continue to pressure in the bot. Now Canyon will be caught in his... Oh, wow, that's a lot of damage.
I think Odo Omne might be caught here for the second. Canyon can always just jump across this wall. Odo Omne down to half HP, forced back. Remember, he doesn't have TP to get back to this lane. Khan holding it in a pretty strong position, as now they will try and crash this wave in. 2.5 minion waves. Going to be underneath the tower here. Khan dives in. Take a single tower shot, but Odo Omne 200 HP in a dream for him to defend this top tier 1.
He's at risk of getting dived now. He doesn't have the flash available. He doesn't have the TP. That's a wave stacking, and Khan is level 6. So much is being lost simply because Odo died in that 1 versus 1. Larson Inspired is trying to come around and help him, but look, Inspired's still level 3. His entire top side was stolen. He couldn't actually steal enemy jungle camps on the bot side of the map because of the pressure that Ghost and Beryl consistently had in the wave. Damwon is just absolutely dominating every part of the map, and there's nothing that Odo can do about it.
It's just beautiful play from Damwon. The #1 seed from the LCK are just walking Rogue around the map, and we talked about how Rogue got early leads in the LEC. That's how they play, that's how they got their advantages. Here against Damwon, they are just not winning out in any lane whatsoever. Canyon has been everywhere, Showmaker has been everywhere, and already there's 1,200 gold lead for Khan in the top lane.
Top's over, dude.
Like,
Top's
Jax
over.
has scaled already, and we're 6 minutes into the game.
He's so far ahead, and I love the way in which Canyon and Showmaker played around that as well, because it was just really well done. They took advantage of the stacked wave. They knew that Odo had no flash. They know that he has no TP, and look, Khan knows that he has a 2-level advantage, who's going to zone him away as much as he can. Odo will finally be able to get to his tower. Maybe now he can get his level 5, but the damage has already been done. Like,
I mean, it's 3 plates at 6 minutes. Well, 2.5 plates at 6 minutes. Khan taking up a couple of tower shots here, but Odo Omne doesn't realize or doesn't think that he can chase a level down on the Damwon top laner, who can now back away. Twice the CS for this Jackson. Damwon just in total control of this game. 1,700 gold ahead. And I think some of the euphoria that perhaps we had after Rogue were able to take down C9 yesterday has been well and truly quelled in this first 7 minutes of this game.
Well, yeah, it's looking pretty dominant for Damwon in this early game. They've played the lanes extremely well. And admittedly, Hansama and Trimi, they've been able to keep the bot lane CS equal. But usually what you expect from this 2 versus 2 is just a lot of aggression, a lot of trading, trying to leverage the fact that you have a heal so that you can keep trading your HP back and forth. But we've got to draw our attention back to the jungle, because Cannon's like, hey, yeah, look, Showmaker's up my back. I know we can collapse on this. Let's steal away more buffs.
There's a realm more coming in. Showmaker just wants to force Inspired underneath this tower. Canyon will take away the Grump. The blue did reset, but Canyon can just walk across to it now. And Inspired, he just hasn't been able to farm his own jungle. Something that Rogue do very well is when Inspired's able to get, you know, a first full clear, when he's able to get towards that level 6, he can be such a strong influence on the map. But Damwon have been so good at shutting him down, went for that red invade, now going for the blue invade. Hansama trying to force Ghost back here. There's the root coming out from the Gravitum, and Ghost very safe in this bottom lane.
This is also what we were talking about in the draft, right? Like, the risk of this Fiddle pick is how you can abuse it when you have this ability to collapse. And Larssen is doing what he can to try and assist, but the moment that they go and assist Inspired, look who gets punished on the other side of the map. It's Odoamne, who's now getting dived by Khan.
Smokescreen will stop Khan in his tracks for the moment, but with the wave pushing in, as you say, Khan has flash, auto attack, thwack, thwack, thwack goes the Jax, and down goes Odoamne once again.
That's a second solo kill. Khan is playing the lane perfectly right now. Hansama's trying to get something back in the bot side of the map, but you're now facing the problem of how do you deal with this Jax later on into the game. The reality is that he is already proving to be a powerful side lane threat, and he's only going to be harder and harder to deal with as the game progresses, even if the other lanes are doing okay. Look at all this topside vision control that Damwon have as well. They're just, every time, and it's the way in which they use Canyon and Khan together. Because Khan got that solo kill, okay, and that was good. But it's what they were able to get off the back of that that was so devastating for Rogue, because Canyon was like, okay, I can invade here, I can point of pressure here. Oh, Odoamne wants to collapse? Okay, fine. That's cool. I'll just leave then, because I'm Talon. And so, and then the moment you try and collapse, like, okay, now I'm going to invade your bot side. Oh, now you have no one who can help Odo. So now Khan is going to just run him down. It's just, there's so many points of pressure on the map right now that Rogue just don't have any answers. And a lot of it comes off the back of Khan getting this solo kill. And I think that as a player, Khan, there have been a lot of question marks around him. In particular, he didn't have the strongest season. He did have a very strong playoffs, in my opinion. And I think that many people say that Damwon is weaker because what Noguri was to that team last year is not what Khan is to this team. But to sit there and say that like Khan is any kind of weak link, I think would be a big stretch. And I think that he's still someone that you can very much rely on to be a carry, especially if you give him the opportunity.
Definitely can. Canyon looking for Inspired here once again. Gets forced back with the fear there, but Canyon has a lot of damage. Shadow Assault still available for him. Larssen coming in from the side as well. Shockwave not used. There's a Shadow Assault. Odoamne's trying to chase down Canyon, who will flash across the wall and then can just dash across the next one.
It's so annoying. But this is exactly what we were talking about in draft, right? It's just, so they're giving him Talon, and then they're picking Fiddle as their answer into the Talon.
Look, Fetty, I don't know why, okay? My ideas about why they did this haven't changed in the last 10 minutes. You did say, how will they deal with the Jax when he scales? I've worked out one way. The game's not going to scale. Right? This is Damwon versus G2 all over again. We're going sub 20 possibly on this game if Damwon keep this pace up. 3,000 gold ahead. And I will say, looking back to last year, this was kind of to be expected in the 2 games they played. At 15 minutes on average, Rogue were 4,000 gold behind. They got 1 Drake in the entirety of it.
The average game time was 29
It was the same. It was 29 minutes as Inspired looks for a fight in the mid lane. Showmaker able to flash away.
So that is Inspired's first gank of the game. Flash invested from both Inspired and Larssen in exchange for Showmakers, and they don't get anything off the back of it. Now, Ghost and Beryl looking to fight.
Hansama could try and turn this one around. He does dash back forward, and there's the cut, and Ghost has to flash. One more auto would be enough. Help picks coming out the tidal wave. A little bit to the side, and Ghost will be able to retreat. Hansama not wanting to invest a flash to try and get those final couple of autos down.
Well, he knows that Beryl still has the ultimate up and available. But that is going to be the Herald dropped in the mid lane as well. Oh, Beryl overstepping just a little bit there. But given that the Fiddle ultimate was just used in the mid lane, Showmaker and Canyon now know that the risk of that in mid is, well, gone. Yeah. So that means that they can drop this Herald, they can secure themselves a bunch of plates. They know that Khan is already winning top lane. Odoamne has to back off because his jungler is nowhere near, and there's no way that he can defend this tower. Oh man, this Jax is so bad.
It's incredibly well played by Damwon. Obviously, being an LEC fan and watching Rogue lose like this is a little bit disheartening, but they can bounce back. Damwon continue to show just why they are seen as one of, if not the best team in the world right now, taking down former world champions FPX yesterday in a dominant fashion and looking to do the same against Rogue here. Trimby dives towards the bottom side, Inspire's going to get caught out. Rune Prison coming down, and Khan, he's here for another one. Gets his 3rd kill of the game, a killing spree for the Jax. And Damwon 4 kills to 0, up a 5,000 gold lead at the 30-minute mark. About 2 minutes quicker than last year. Shockwave coming out, Khan able to get across it. And there's the taunt, and there's the stun, and there's the rampage for Khan. Making a statement for himself this Worlds before he likely goes off to military service after this year.
It is an absolute slaughter, Medic. Yeah. It is just all across the board. Damwon is completely demolishing Rogue. And now it's Khan counter jungling. He's like, you know what, Canyon, you take your jungle, I'll take theirs. It's fine. What are they going to do? There's no way they can stop him. Inspired has just been completely shut down in this early game. Canyon, just such great awareness of how to deal with this fiddle pick and managing it perfectly.
I think it's something you brought up earlier as well. I was wondering about whether the Talon would be as powerful without a Yumi, right? Because you don't have that Bruiser plus Enchanter combination in a lot of these fights, and that's why we saw it shine so well yesterday for Ona. But what Talon does really well, especially into a jungle like Fiddlesticks, is get in and out of the jungle really easily.
And so you creates a lot of pressure, right? And he can do it in lane too, you know? He can just walk in lane, threaten a gank, he can overstep because he can then use the ability to just dive out. And that's also why many junglers even run Ignite in that lane, right? Because it gives you even more early game power. And if he had run Ignite, then he has kill threat on this Fiddle in the enemy jungle as well. And his pathing was all about trying to shut down the Fiddle. He went from Red to Raptors to Gromp to give himself the fastest level 3. He then immediately invades, steals away the enemy red buff, just everything's so well executed. In the bot lane, they get themselves a 2v2 kill. Top lane finds themselves a 1v1 kill. And while Larssen is holding his own in the mid lane, it's just Showmaker being like, well, I don't care. I'm going to roam around the map. And now he finds himself with the CS advantage as well. So just absolute domination across the board. And at this point, it's just, it feels like it's a matter of time.
Oh, 100%.
You know, the game feels like...
I will be honest, it's felt like that for the last 8 minutes. After those 2 solo kills in the top lane, I was done with this game. Like, we knew the result.
Yeah, it's tough, obviously, you know, because you want to try and give reasons as to the way in which they can come back into this game, but...
Oh, they're looking for a fight here as Canyon is called out. Shadow Assault into the first hop. And that's not enough damage. The collateral damage was not enough. Canyon able to escape. Both ults invested. We did see Odoamne at half of Khan's gold right now on this Graves. He's got, 99 CS, but he's already... he's got 99 CS, but more than Khan is not one. That doesn't really work, does it? There was one there, and I couldn't get it.
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't it. But good effort.
Forced it like Rogue have been forcing these plays.
Again, no, you need to stop.
Okay, I'll stop. Yeah. I'm trying to find some humor in this game, Benny.
It's like laughing through the pain, you know?
It's a happy face in front of the crying one on the meme.
I mean, this is what we expected, though. When you look at Damwon, they are heavy favorites to make it out of this group. The reason why it was called the Group of Death was mainly because Rogue and Cloud9 were expected to die. And, in the event that Rogue was able to get a win here, it would have, really shaked up the group, and it could have made things very, very crazy. But Damwon just came into this game and they asserted their dominance. I really like what they did with the draft. I think that the way in which they executed it was extremely clean as well. And you just kind of all of these things that analysts have been saying, you can kind of really see coming to fruition. And I think for many EU fans, they also looked at Inspired and being like, hey, he was our regular season MVP. He was someone that's touted as being a very smart jungler. And Canyon's just put him in the dirt, right? The way in which he's moved through the jungle, his pathing, the way in which he's been able to play around it, and also the way in which Damwon used the early game to get early information on what Inspired wanted to do so that they could then shut him down and adapt his path accordingly. Just goes to show how well Damwon operate as an entire unit and how well they do enable their jungler to best set him up for success.
And because of that early game, they are now 6,000 gold ahead. Inspired looking to come down here, gets the fear off, but Showmaker can just chase him down. There's the Everfrost, healing coming out. Inspired almost dies, flashes away. The Spellflux not quite enough. Larssen coming in from the side as well, but here comes Canyon! And he's on the chase for Inspired. Larssen underneath the tower by himself now. Inspired? I mean... do you come back here? He's going to start it up. He's going to smite for some health, and Showmaker and Canyon chipping away at this bot lane tier 1. There's the shockwave. Here comes the Crow Storm as they look for Canyon, but he flashes away, and Showmaker's going to turn this one right back around. Canyon going in, helps Showmaker pick up the kill. The rest of Rogue left in the wings, not really able to do anything about this.
Rogue are just doing what they can to try and find something. If they can get any gold into their back pocket, if they can relieve any pressure, maybe stall this game out, then there's a world where maybe they can turn this game around. But Damwon immediately shut that down. Great positioning from Showmaker, staying just outside the range of the Fiddle, means that he can consistently dish out the DPS. And he's able to come out on top. Now with the Herald, they're securing themselves into the tower. Hunsummer now looks for a 1v1.
Hunsummer's going to cleanse it away and gets the 1v1. Flashes into the bush. First kill of the game on the board for Rogue. Not a total shutout. Larssen's going to get chased down here by Khan. Odoamne coming in from the side as well as Showmaker's going to join the fray. Hunsummer getting chased by Canyon. And Canyon will kill him off. 1-for-1 in the mid lane in the end. Khan trading in a 2v1. It's going to turn back, look for the counter strike. Wild Growth coming out as well. There's the bubble. Tidal Wave connects, but Odoamne and Trimby don't want to chase into 3.
Damwon, they have the numbers advantage there. A slightly different situation could have meant a kill for Rogue, but Khan knows the limits that he's playing in. He knows that his team is there to support him, and he doesn't even have to burn a summoner spell. So he's just creating that additional pressure that he's done so all game long. They find themselves with an 8,500 gold lead. The second Drake is on the board for Damwon, and they're just going to grab that for themselves.
In the past, Europe has been on the other side of a 7-1 scoreline, but this time on the losing side of it. Damwon here, total dominance this game. That kill from Hans Summer, the only thing that keeps us away from getting perfect gamed here. Rogue will have to reevaluate how they want to play the early game, because Damwon have just shown that they are a cut above in every single metric this game.
Let's have a look at this Axe Effect replay. Hans Summer, I think he just does more damage, I think. I don't even know if the flash did anything there. I would have to watch that one again, because, yeah, I needed really slow-mo for that 1v1. I thought at first that he flashed the flamethrower, so that he was like dodging that extra bit of damage, but he got hit by it. So I'm like, I wonder if the flash was actually necessary.
I mean, it could just be a Lucian into a Ferios thing. I think Hans Summer was ahead on items at that point.
Well, also he's gone Kraken Slayer,
yeah.
So you have that third hit too, and with the press the attack proc too. My expectation would be that Hans Summer just wins out on that 1v1 anyway, but he did end up losing his flash in the exchange. Still, at least it's something back for Rogue. Yep. They find themselves an 8k gold deficit right now. Better than 8.5k, right? You know?
That is the most hopium I have ever heard someone huff in a single moment.
Look at the bright
I need to talk to your doctor, because that prescription is a little bit off the charts, Betty. Rogue on the back foot once again as Showmaker shadows Khan. Something Damwon Kia do very well is have their 2 solo laners in the same position to make sure that they can look for this fight. He's going to jump across the wall and Canyon will be fine, but Canyon does eat a little bit of hurt as Inspired looks towards the bottom lane here. Is on a ward and tower should just fall in favor of Damwon.
They're just working their way through the side lanes right now. Damwon know that they are so much stronger in the 1v1. Rogue are kind of forced to group like you're seeing. Larson, that's
an Everfrost. There's a root. It's going to get away with the collateral damage. Shield bow, you can see the shield was there, but it wasn't quite as much as you perhaps would expect at this moment in the game.
Showmaker with his completed Everfrost, definitely able to dish out the damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. Yeah, there's the Zhonya's. Yep. I think he actually could have just gone for more damage if he wanted to, but I guess by going for the Zhonya's, you're really limiting the potential comeback avenues for Rogue by really making it even harder to get yourself a pick. And you can just see the gold across the board. The good news, just look at bot lane. You know, yeah, Hans Summer ahead of gold against Ghost, and then there's also other gold that's largely on the Damwon players.
Khan is 4,000 gold ahead right now. Just to bring it into perspective, 2,000 gold lead as well for Cannon in the jungle. But yeah, bot lane's even. We got that one. Hans Summer and Trimby having a good performance today. Although there's 900, so not even Trimby. Trimby's 900 gold behind. Hans Summer having a good performance today. And Damwon across the board having stellar performances as to be expected from our reigning world champs. Now 2 minutes on the Ocean Drake. First Drake was a little bit late, so we're not going to be stacking up towards that soul before, you know, about the 30-minute mark or so, but can still look for Inspired. Has been able to sneak around here. He's going to look for a Ghost. Crowstorm a possibility, but Cannon and Showmaker here to dissuade Rogue from pushing any further forward. Khan is not with the team, and this is one of the few options that Rogue have. They say, well, Khan is catching a wave. He's going to start pushing it towards our tower. While he's doing that, let's make a play in a 5v4, because as soon as Khan gets up towards those turrets, up towards those inhibitors, he will eat through them.
Yes, he will, Minik. Yes, he certainly will. The problem is, even if Rogue wants to try and find these picks, the Lulu ultimate is going to make it so much harder. She mitigates so much of this burst thanks to her ult and her shielding. Oh, here we go, the attempt though.
They're looking for Ghost. He does have the flash, has the exhaust as well, but Ghost is down for the second time this game. 100% death participation for the AD carry from Damwon. Khan coming in for the flank here. Odoamne does have TP if he wants to join this, but here comes Khan. Counter-strike cleansed away by Hans Summer. Tidal Wave's going to try and turn it around. The bubble's going to hit as well. Khan takes the wild growth and is pretty darn healthy through that exchange, but in the end, Rogue able to find a kill.
Yeah, get something and they aren't punished for it. So that's the best case scenario for Rogue. Obviously, they have not given up on this game just yet. And even though they are in a very dire position, the best thing that they can do is keep looking for these picks. Keep looking for small windows of opportunity where you can crawl your way back into the game. The important thing to remember is that when Damwon's looking to play around something like a Baron, like a Dragon, they're going to be grouped up, and there are ways in which Rogue can leverage some of their strong team fighting tools to potentially turn it around. It's just the gold difference that they find themselves in right now. Even if they do find a good fight, they might just not have the damage to turn it around. And with the control that Damwon is showing, and I think that they're already respecting the Fiddle pretty well, but you know they're going to be even more hyper alert of it now. So keep an eye on that side lane vision as Canyon has his eyes on a potential pick in mid.
It does very much feel like Ghost's the only one you can catch out, and only if Beryl isn't there. Because if you catch on Ghost, no longer has the flash phase, Squishy is an AD carry. Showmaker has a stopwatch, Canyon can jump away, Khan is an absolute monster. Like, he's playing Pacific Rim, not League of Legends this game with how big he is. And then Beryl has the Wild Growth in all of these, and the Whimsy as well in these sorts of situations. So Ghost's really the only one for Rogue. If they can find a pick, Khan here stepping forward.
Oh, he is overextended here.
Yeah, but the Counter-Strike is a Counter-Strike. And because of that, he can dash away. Dragon secured here for Dom, 1/3 of the game for them. And with that, they keep that 7,000 gold lead or thereabouts. Odo Omne forced back by the rest of the LCK representatives. And Larson and Inspired were waiting in the wings to look to see if they could find a play.
Well, I will say that Damwon have definitely slowed the game down a lot. They spent a lot of their early game advantages just securing more side lane towers, securing themselves more items. You can already see like second items completed, a lot of them working on their third. Khan picking himself up the Warden's Mail as well to make it even harder for Odo Omne and Han Sama, who are probably the two biggest threats for him in a side lane. And even then, in a 1v1, that's definitely not something that he's going to be particularly afraid of. But Han Sama is responding in kind by likely going for either the
Cyrildas?
Cyrildas. That's the one that I was thinking of. Because that extra slow that you get on the ultimate as well is very valuable. But now Khan has his eyes on a potential flank. They know that Odo Omne is bot lane.
Yeah, Rogue just pushed the wave and then back away immediately. They don't have the vision on the sides here. Khan working his way down towards the bottom lane. You can see Trimby using the bubble there just to see if anyone was waiting in that bush. And a moment ago, Canyon was there. So now Damwon continue to keep their vision line. That ward, actually, just above the entrance to the red side jungle is pretty strong. And Hans Summer can look for Beryl here, who has to flash away, has the Wild Growth still. The slow flash forward from Hans Summer. 3rd kill of the game for him. Every single kill has gone on Hans.
Okay. I can hear the hopium. I can hear it. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where Hans Summer now finds himself with 3 kills. That is another pick that they found onto the Damwon bot lane. They're setting up. They're not going to start the Baron. There's no way that they will start the Baron. But it's just a matter of time that they're buying themselves. Okay, Canyon now wants to get something back in exchange. Larson.
He doesn't have stopwatch. He realizes that Canyon could be waiting there.
He's found him. That's like he puts. That reminds me of, like, you know, when you're like, you open the cupboard, you know, you see a monster in there and you're like, oh, just gonna close that.
It's like Abadaga yesterday when he jumps over the wall on Zoe. He's like, oh, there's a Mako in that bush. Okay, I'm out of here. Yep. Obviously, I will say throughout my life, I've never opened a cupboard and seen a monster. We might live very different lives. That's true. Yes.
Admittedly, though, Larson was level 15, so he did have a 3-level advantage on that. So it probably wasn't as scary for him as we made it out to be. But I will say that 8.5k gold difference. Now, 6.5k, man. That's a lot better.
It also feels like Damwon, as you said, have just not done a huge amount of proactive stuff.
Well,
they took the dragon, like since the early game, right, where they got that dominant lead. They've taken a dragon, and it kind of feels like they're just saying, okay, we'll wait for Soul. In 2 minutes' time, you have to fight this.
In my opinion, I think that Damwon recognize that they have many ways in which they feel they outscale.
Sure.
Right? And so, the thing that they have to be the most cautious of is a wombo combo hitting them when they're trying to siege. Because I will say that their comp overall is quite short range. Yeah. So when you get close to a tower against an Orianna with her wave clear, against a Fiddlesticks who can be sitting in the fog of war, that's scary for Damwon. So they've largely been playing through a side lane. But now they're kind of at a point where it's really hard for them to just fully commit. So now they're looking for flanks.
Hansama going in once again, looking for Ghost. There's the wild growth for the damage on the Ghost as he has to flash away. Canyon and Showmaker in a good position to flank here. TP's coming in from the top lane as Odoamne needs to get away from that counter-strike to Fear. Onto Khan will force him away. Rogue were the ones who engage, but Damwon able to hold them at arm's length. Hansama still on the front line here. The Enchanter in Nami helping him out. Inspired does have the ultimate, and here he goes. They're looking for Khan. The silence, the fear. It's not quite enough damage to kill off Khan, but Bevel is next on the menu. Damage coming out from Canyon as he joins the Fate from the side. 1-0 in favor of Rogue so far. Hansama waiting for the Ignite to tick off. Healed up, Showmaker flashing forward. Canyon going in as well, and the Shockwave only hits onto Ghost on the back line. But here comes Fiddle. One shot down, there's two as there's Rogue winning the team fight in the mid lane. And the Wombo combo works perfectly for Rogue as Damwon Kia are wiped.
Rogue just won a team fight! What the hell just happened? How? How did that happen? From the deficit that they were at, it felt like that this game was done and dusted. But Rogue, they only lose Hansama. They win a massive team fight. They will secure the Baron. The question is, can they deny this dragon? Because with the Ocean Soul going into the back pocket, Damwon will still find themselves in a very comfortable position. But with these death timers and with no TP, Showmaker's going to get to the objective first, but Rogue are likely going to make a beeline towards this dragon.
So Khan has no TP either. He's going to have to run alongside Ghost and alongside Canyon. The Baron, the dragon has been started up. It's gone. You have to feel it's gone before Rogue can even get there.
I don't know.
4,000 HP on it. They're on their way, but yeah, Inspired is giving this up.
Yeah,
Trimby's looking for it. And that will be Ocean Soul to Damwon. So now we're in a battle between a Baron for the next 2.5 minutes and an Ocean Soul for Damwon. Let's have another look at this mid lane fight.
So it starts off with a big mistake from Khan where he's forced out of the fight immediately. Remember that he has a lot of Damwon's gold, and then Beryl investing everything ends up dying, so it's a 4v5. Now a lot of the protection for Ghost disappears, so let's have a look at how things now pan out. The flash in from Showmaker to shut down Hansama is good, but then the fear and the positioning from Inspired flashing in, getting a 3-man W off means that he was dishing out so much damage on top of the shockwave from Larson. Means that they end up coming out on top. So just a poorly executed team fight from Damwon gives Rogue an avenue back into this game, and they desperately needed it. Yes, they're still down. They're still fighting against an Ocean Soul, but that was the breath of life that they needed to be able to stay relevant in this game.
Odoamne on his lonesome here, pushing up. Showmaker once again shadowing Khan as Khan looks for the fight. He is very strong. 3 items complete. Randuin's complete. Ghost here overstepping a little bit though as the culling hits him. Shirilda's Gudge getting the slow as well. Rogue continue to force the Damwon Kia bot lane back. It has been a weakness for them in the past. Remember, Showmaker subbed in for that bot lane for a while during the summer season because Damwon were having issues with it. 3,000 gold now the difference between these two teams. Rogue will take their 3rd tower of the game. Showmaker looking for a flank. Baron buff expiring in a minute's time.
So really, I think this game becomes about the Elder medic.
Oh, Inspired ulted.
He did ult. I don't know why.
I think he was looking for Showmaker, but Showmaker just stepped outside of the range.
Oh, maybe he had vision there on the Raptors. And in any case, that ultimate will not be available, but I don't think it really matters that much.
I mean, it's already a quarter of the way off cooldown, so...
Yeah, but also there's nothing really that they should fight for. Ooh, this could be a window here for Damwon.
Can be no flash. Just look for the Nami here. Tidal Wave immediately stops Canyon Shadow Shot. There's a great Aqua Prism as well to keep Canyon at bay. Trimby knew he had to save himself. No flash on him. Hansama could always just flash away. Khan now in a good flank position. Larson's catching the bot wave. Inspired's ultimate still half of its way off.
They know they're in there.
Yeah, you've got to know. You've got to know that they're here. Khan diving in, double stun into the wild growth. Fear back onto Khan, but the damage just isn't quite there for Rogue right now. Khan forced away. There's the culling. Khan will be able to jump out of it. Larson rejoining, taking the long way round. Didn't want to step into Canyon and Showmaker. The tower stands. Rogue got 2,000 gold off that Baron. 3,000 gold, the difference between the two teams. And Damwon Kia, after having one of the most dominant early games we have seen so far at Worlds, are now a little bit back against the ropes.
So when you look at the gold here, you can see that so much of it's sitting on Hansama. Oh, Odo, can he?
He's got
they don't have a way to interrupt that unless Larson could have gotten in range to Shockwave, so they don't have to commit to that. But wow. I mean, it still feels like Rogue are really far behind, and that's because they are.
I mean, yeah, it's an Ocean Soul, so that's like 5k gold worth of stats plus the gold lead.
But Hansama, what a game from him, right? Like, and obviously it's a situation where the best thing Rogue can do is constantly look for picks. But as you said, it was Hans Sama who was the recipient for all of these picks. He was 3-1, moving to like the 20 to 25 mark. And that just meant item after item after item. And look, he's almost at an Infinity Edge now. And I think that that's what Rogue won. They're sitting there saying, Hans Sama, if you can get Infinity Edge before the Elder Drake, there's a real possibility that we can win this. But the question is,
there it is.
There it is. So 4 items. So Hans Sama is the guy you've got to watch, because in the last fight, Damwon committed everything to killing him, and then the rest of Rogue ended up clearing out. But I say that, the Void Staff now being completed on Larson, level 17 for him, 16 for Hans Sama, 17 for Odoamne, with, yes, he only has 2 items, but he should be more relevant than he was. And even in the last team fight, he did the most damage out of everyone on Rogue. So this game that felt done, dusted.
Yep.
We had written it off, Medic. We thought, okay, Damwon performing just like they had been. They weren't able to leverage this huge goal lead that they had to break into the base of Rogue, and Rogue found pick after pick after pick. And it's ironic, because for anyone that's followed Rogue, it is they who have found themselves in multiple gold leads. They are Rogue time, you know? But Odoamne said yesterday that the memes should die, and perhaps they can prove it today. It's still a close game, but that's it. We've got a close game now. This game is going to be decided, in my opinion, by the Elder, but the Baron will spawn before it.
Infinity Edge complete on Odoamne now as well. The only executioners on the side, the only grievous wounds on the side of Rogue sits in that Chemtech Future Fire. Ghost having to flash away. Hans Sama with a flash chase. Canyon trying to put the damage down. Hans Sama needs another auto attack, but has he overstepped? Shadow Assault coming out. The tidal wave's going to hit just short of Canyon. Meanwhile, Damwon Kia, 3-member strong, pushing in the bottom lane. They're going to Realm Warp in. Flash away. Flash chase. Wild Growth. There's the damage. The Shockwave does not connect. Damwon have 3 players down towards this bottom side while Rogue push for the base. This is the Inhibitor Tower at least. It's all on Odoamne and Inspired to try and defend this. The Inhibitor does not fall in the mid lane for Damwon. They have forced Hans Sama and Trimby away, and they will gain an advantage in terms of inhibitors.
The biggest thing here for Damwon is that they still have all 5 members alive. Yes, Ghost was forced back, but that was the expense of Hans Sama's summoner spells. So Damwon are just sitting pretty right now with the Elder spawning in 25 seconds. Yes, Lawson will have the teleport. Are Rogue going to try and force... No, there's no way that they'll try and force the Baron. They don't have their mid laner available to them. He's not going to be alive in time. And Damwon is just sitting in the enemy jungle looking for a potential pick. Damwon found their window where they finally broke into the base. They were able to trade Hans Sama's aggression for something in exchange. And now look, a lot of pings coming down into the mid lane. The Elder is now up and available.
Canyon jumps straight into them. Shadow Assault, there's the fear as well. Odoamne trying to put the damage down, but Hans Sama was not there. TP coming in from Larson, and now the battle lines are drawn. Rogue to the top side, Damwon Kia to the bottom. Beryl down in the enemy jungle, down by where that red buff would be. Showmaker there as well. No flashes on either side. Only Inspired, Odo, and Trimby have their flash. Showmaker and Beryl in the perfect position for the flank. Inspired stepping in, looking for that Crow Storm. Canyon in the pit. Rogue stepping forward. They're going to recall. They're starting the resets. Do they not know this is the Elder? You got to go for it. You got to fight for it.
He has to catch the wave. That's what he's worried about. The potential backdoor from Khan and Showmaker is what Odoamne is really scared about.
Beryl and Showmaker in such a good position for this, and they're going to watch Inspired walk straight into their waiting arms. Stopwatch pop by Inspired, and pop, he goes. Khan on the chase, Showmaker on a rampage, and now it's on Hans Sama, Trimby, and Larson to try and fight against this, but the Elder is lower and lower and lower, and ticking down as Canyon and Ghost focus it. The Elder will be secured, the Shockwave connects, but you have to think that's the last hope that Rogue had of doing anything in this game. Hans Sama down, Khan kills him off, Ghost takes Larson, and Trimby, the last man standing in that fight, will be chased away. Odoamne getting chased by Ghost as well. Damwon with a sublime, patient game as they fought and they fought and they fought. Odo will get a kill there in the end, but you have to feel he cannot defend against Khan and Showmaker.
The damage has been done. Damwon have themselves the Elder Drake. It was close. Rogue fought back valiantly, but it will be Damwon to cement themselves as the victors with only 1 Nexus turret left. Rogue are going to fall to Damwon.
Damwon just waited until the perfect moment to kill off Inspired, and because of that, they win the game. Damwon still undefeated.
The positioning from Showmaker in that final fight was perfect because, as you rightly said, it was Fiddle that was looking for the ult over the wall to be able to get into the pit and create that chaos. And Odo was like, we've been backdoored before. I have to go back to base and catch this wave, because if they get us in an extended fight and they're able to TP behind us, like, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were even able to get themselves back into that position, so much credit needs to be given to Hans Sama. He really played out of his mind right there. And even in the final fight, he was like, I have to just do what I can. He nearly kills the Jax off as well. Rogue showcasing that they definitely have more left in the tank, but that early game went nowhere near in their favor, and you know Odo is going to be extremely frustrated with himself after his performance in this game.
It was a masterclass by Khan and Canyon in the early game. Rogue able to fight back, of course, and that does show you signs of hope. I saw a smile on Hans Sama's face a moment ago, obviously a little bit dejected now after realizing the true weight of that, because a win here really would have put that group in turmoil. Like, FPX lost to Damwon. If Rogue are able to pick up a win here, it totally changes the outlook of Group A.
It's a game where you felt like it was lost, and then suddenly you find a way back in, and then all of a sudden you lose it again. And of course that's going to feel really frustrating, because Rogue, they're going to sit there and their initial impression is probably, oh, well, we lost the early game. You know, we played worse, we can do better next time. But they actually did better in the game. The thing that they were criticized so much for during the regular season, their mid-game, they played extremely well in this game. And I felt like that Damwon slowed down. Like, sure, I need to go back and like properly review what it was that prevented Damwon from being able to leverage that gold lead more. My initial instincts are that